Hello, hello, and welcome to Movie Review TV. I'm Aldwyn Altuney.
And I'm Michael Thompson.
And you are watching
another episode of
Movie Review TV. Movie Review TV. We see films as they are.
Rate them
Out of 5 stars. Movie Review TV. Yeah, Movie Review TV. Excellent job there, Michael. I must say that was brilliant. Original music there, absolutely fantastic.
Wait till you hear the whole thing.
Wait till you hear the whole thing. That's right. That was a little snippet of some of Michael's amazing work on the guitar and original songwriting. Brilliant.
Amazing. You think it was amazing?
It was amazing, Michael.
I'm amazed that you find it amazing.
Yes.
No, not
well,
really.
I thought it was brilliant. I like to acknowledge.
I know that I can play a bit.
Yes, you can play a bit. I like to acknowledge art and music because I love it. And today we're going to be reviewing Whitney.
Yes, that's right, Whitney. And it's just called Whitney.
That's right.
This is the second documentary about the life of Whitney Houston.
Yes.
That has come out. And, well, we saw the last one a few months ago.
Yeah.
So it was only just recently.
Yeah, there's been two in very recent times.
So how do they compare? It's from completely different producer, director, and writer. So it's from a completely different perspective than the other one. So you'll be able to maybe if you're a Whitney Houston fan, especially, and if you're an '80s fan, you probably want to see it. So you can watch both the documentaries because you can pick something different out from each of them. Well, tell us what the film's about.
Yes, that's right. We will tell you more. So, firstly, I'll let you know what this one's about. So this is a 2018 documentary film about the life and career of singer Whitney Houston. It was written and directed by Kevin Macdonald, and it features never-before-seen archival footage, exclusive recordings, rare performances, and interviews with the people who knew her best. Whitney actually broke more music industry records than any other female singer in history, and she became the only artist to have 7 consecutive US #1 singles. Friends, family, and colleagues talk about her lifestyle in front of and behind the cameras, in a life marred with scandals, struggles, and eventually tragedy with her death at the age of 48. It was screened out of competition at the 2018 Cannes Film Festival and was released on July 6, 2018, so about a month ago, by Roadside Attractions and Miramax. So that's a little bit about Whitney. So what did you think of it, Michael?
I really loved it. I really did. And actually, it provided more details, didn't it, than the other Whitney Houston documentary. And as I said, it's from a completely different producer, director, and writer. So he bound to, display other things that weren't in the other documentary. For instance, in this documentary, you found out, some details about her time that she spent, doing The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner, because that was one of the major feature films in the early 1990s. Because Whitney Houston had never done a film before, and Kevin Costner wanted Whitney Houston specifically to do that role in that film, in The Bodyguard. So so he scouted out Whitney Houston to be in it. And it was a worldwide success as well. So her foray into films turned out quite well, even though it was obviously singing as a main career. And also it highlighted, different aspects about Whitney Houston that you never knew about. As you can see in the preview, on YouTube, she actually put down Paula Abdul. She didn't think much about Paula Abdul when she came out. She sang out of key. That's what she said about Paula Abdul. Paula Abdul's just a pop singer. So I guess you couldn't call her a proper singer like Whitney. Whitney's fantastic. as a singer and performer. And as has been pointed out, you know, you had to see her live. Well, I haven't seen her live, but it's obviously there would have to be some YouTube videos of her performing at some of the big venues. So I have to check them out myself, especially after I've seen this documentary. So it's been pointed out how good she is live. Although everyone knows how great a singer that she is. And someone pointed out in the film that, you know, she had the best, you know, female voice of the 20th century. And she did. It was absolutely fantastic, her voice. So she was, obviously when she first came out, she was a major talent because her, you know, I think it was a self-titled album, was one of the biggest albums of the entire year. It was featuring, you know, all the nearly all of her major hits that you can think of, like what? Well, when she first came out, one of her The Greatest Love of All is one of the best Whitney Houston songs ever.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones that sticks out in my mind anyway. Because it stays with you forever, doesn't it? When you first hear that song, that's one of her first songs that she released. And well, she was trained in gospel. Obviously, there's a lot of African American singers were. So she had great vocal cords.
Amazing,
didn't she? That transcended everything else. And she had a very musical family because her cousin is Dionne Warwick. Warwick, which is a well-known singer.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And the mother was a singer, and the mother was a singer that didn't have she didn't have quite nowhere near actually a successful career as what Whitney had. And so she, you know, taught Whitney a few things, helped her along the way. But I think she ended up taking too much credit for her success in the end, didn't she, Aldwyn? Which is a bit of a shame, really. And this documentary, as I said, pointed out a few things that weren't in the other documentary, some rare archival footage that you know, Whitney Houston wouldn't want it to be screened about her putting down Paula Abdul, for instance. That's one thing that she wouldn't want, you know, broadcast. Would have created many problems because, you know, Paula Abdul had the song. What was that? She had a very famous song, like in the early 90s or late 80s, I think.
Not sure about that. You'd have to Google that. What was Paula Abdul's?
Absolute. Oh, I've got what the name of the song is anyway.
Anyway, if you know it,
she had a popular hit.
Yes, and if you know it, pop it in our comments under this video. We'd love to know what the big hit was that Paula Abdul
she had at least one major single at the time. So
she might have been.
So Whitney didn't think much of her as a singer.
No, she didn't.
As is pointed out in the you know, brief snippet.
There was a brief
of the archival footage that they had in the documentary.
Behind the scenes.
But Paula Abdul was never a major singer. She was just a pop star like Madonna, basically. So she wasn't meant to be a fantastic singer.
Well, the thing is, you don't have to be the best in the world at something to be famous. And, you know, Madonna, I would not say is the greatest singer. However, she's a fantastic marketer. And same with Kylie Minogue. You know, Kylie Minogue was never a great singer, but she was really good at marketing. And, you know, she had Stock Aitken Waterman behind her in the early days. So when you have a big marketing machine behind you as well, and when you flash your body and do the whole sexy music thing, you know, that always goes down well. And that's something I really respect about Whitney, is she didn't need to flash her bum to get hits. You know, like Kylie Minogue went through the roof when she did that Spinning Around song. You know, and she had the hot pants, the little gold hot pants that went halfway up her bum, right? And suddenly her songs went through the roof. Well, Whitney was always very respectable. She didn't need to go flashing herself like that. You know, she came from a background where I believe there was a lot of dignity in gospel, and, you know, even though there was some crazy stuff that happened in her family, I think her intentions were pure. I think she really wanted her marriage with Bobby Brown to work, you know, and I think a part of her demise was because, you know, he was very jealous of her, which came out in this documentary. And, you know, instead of him coming up to her level, because he never really would come up to her level and reach the kind of fame that she had, she went down to his level, as they said in the documentary, as one person said. So it was very interesting documentary, this one, compared to the last one. It didn't paint the mother out to be such a nasty person in this one. The last one really did. And the last one had more footage on Robin, who was the close friend of Whitney as well. The last documentary covered a lot more about Robin and about the animosity between Robin and with Bobby, with her husband. So yeah, interesting. I mean, it really did. This one was interesting because it showed right back from her childhood. There was more behind the scenes footage in this one, I think, than the last documentary. And you know, it's very sad, actually. The whole thing, it was really sad to see the way Whitney went, because she really was so extraordinary as a singer and such a gift and talent to the world. And, you know, the number of people that, you know, went to her funeral and, you know, that were upset by her loss, I think is testament to how much she impacted the world. Whitney was extraordinary. She was, yes. And it's drugs that did her in the end, unfortunately, that it does to a lot of other pop stars, doesn't it, that you can think of, like obviously going back in time, like Jimi Hendrix, you know, choked on his own vomit. Well, yeah, alcohol's a drug, basically. I think he was taking drugs as well. Jim Morrison, probably, and many Amy
others.
Winehouse,
Amy Winehouse
Janis
is one of the most
Joplin.
recent examples.
There's the 27 Club, Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, that's what they say, yeah.
They all died at 27.
Yeah, that's right. But Whitney lasted a lot
Whitney
longer,
went to 48.
luckily, though she deteriorated, you know, towards the end of her career.
Shockingly. She was so skinny at one point. And then she put on weight, and it was really good to see. Actually, interesting to see the recent film that she did where she actually had put on a bit of weight. She looked a bit more healthy. She had something to live towards. And through that project, apparently she was back on track. She was just like her old self again before she got on the drugs. And then after that project was over, she went downhill again. So I guess it goes to show how important it is for artists to be creative and stay active, because I guess when you have those big highs of fame, you know, like Robin Williams killing himself, you know, had depression, and, you know, a lot of people who have that high level of fame also can feel the real lows of the depression and they find ways to cope, such as taking drugs to cope with, you know, the fame, because it's so unreal, I guess, in many ways, to have thousands of people screaming at you and, you know, to have a phenomenal voice like that. I must say I was surprised to see Whitney smoking. I didn't realize she smoked cigarettes because you'd think that would really affect her vocal cords. And maybe it did in the end. Maybe that did affect her. But yeah, you wouldn't think that someone with such an amazing voice would be a smoker.
Well, I think her singing did go downhill dramatically. Actually, one stage of her career it did.
Yeah,
towards the end.
Yeah.
So maybe that contributed, and obviously the drugs. Yeah, made her become very emaciated, didn't it? And skeleton-like. And the Paula Abdul song that I was thinking of was "Opposites Attract." That was their big hit that she had back in, I think it was the late 80s. And Whitney Houston was criticising her, you know, in some sort of archival footage. She sings off key, you know, on the record.
Yeah.
And so, well, obviously, Paula Abdul was just a pop star. As I said, this documentary, displayed various issues that the other one didn't, about the sexual allegation, you know, by a family member. Yeah. When Whitney and her brother were underaged, by was their cousin, was it? If I recall. What was that cousin called? Cece. Is an underage allegation, you know, sexual harassment by a family member. That was one of the main things that they pointed out in the documentary, and obviously the bit about the bodyguard when she had a role in the bodyguard,
and that kissing scene at the end.
The kissing scene at the end created quite a reaction in South Africa. Obviously, it's a black woman kissing a white guy, which sort of which people, you know, obviously South Africa back then was still it was still in the state of segregation. I think it was just before they got rid of apartheid, or maybe it was, when was it, 1990?
Early 80s.
Well, around about, no, it was around the 1990s, early 1990s. Okay. So it was around about the time, when South Africa got rid of their apartheid policy.
Right.
So obviously, that's one of the things that made them connect with it.
And they mentioned it in the film there that the scene, because when they shot that, the cinematography, when they shot that final scene with the it was Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston kissing at the end, and they were spinning around and around, and it was all intimate, like it was very intimate. The camera angles was shot like it had been shot with two white people in the past. So apparently this is the first time that they'd had I guess a black person and a white person, I don't like to say black, but, coloured. I mean, coloured can be very many different colours. But anyway, I guess an African-American and a Caucasian-American, let's just say that way, African-American and Caucasian-American kissing like that had been displayed that way in a film. And that took Whitney to the stratosphere, they said. That's what they were saying in the film. They said a few times that literally her fame went through the roof after The Bodyguard came out. And I was surprised to see the backlash from other African Americans, actually. I was really surprised in how she got booed at the Soul Train Awards. I was really shocked to see that because they said that she was now becoming more white. And I don't really get that, because she was going more from gospel to pop maybe with her music. Right. Yeah. But, I mean, you transition. I mean, the way she looked at it is she's still producing music. She's still being creative. So what's the problem?
Well, that's what made her become popular, because you started singing pop music.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of, because gospel music doesn't sell really, does it? As soul music.
Yeah,
usually doesn't she?
Well, I guess it doesn't.
She was firmly in the pop arena right from the start. I would say, with her debut album. I can actually visualise her album with her on the cover.
Yeah.
Still, when it came out, she was dressed in some sort of white. Was it a white toga or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can sort of remember it from back then. As I said, this documentary, gave you different parts of Whitney's life that the other one didn't. So I reckon this one, I'd give this one a higher star rating than the other one. And then this documentary didn't imply any possible lesbian relationship with Robin.
No, it didn't.
Like the other one did.
No,
it didn't go into that area because because it's unknown. So
it was touched.
So they cut. So the allegations are probably groundless. Would you say?
It was touched on, but no one can ever prove it, right? They could never prove that there was actually a bisexual relationship going on.
They were they were friends for ages, since their childhood. They can't prove anything more than that, can they?
No, I can't prove it. There was no behind-the-scenes footage of any girls kissing girls or anything like that.
No, there wasn't. So there's nothing to it, really.
But they did say at one point, Robin said it's either Bobby or her, and Whitney said, "I accept your resignation."
But that just might mean they're good friends, though, close friends.
They were close friends. That's right, they were close friends. And in the end, that tiff between Robin and Bobby, in the end, Robin said, "It's either him or me." And Whitney said, "Okay, I accept your resignation." And she let Robin go. And then she lost her closest friend. And then she's with Bobby, who was whoring around, sleeping with anyone and everyone, taking a hell of a lot of drugs. I think was a very bad influence on her. And I think she really loved him. And I think in that love, she lost herself. She lost herself in the drugs. And there was just a downward spiral that was just so ugly to see. It was just such a shame to see someone so magnificent and so divine and so phenomenal just destroy herself like that. It was a really tragic, horrible ending to her life, and to be found the way she was found in a bathtub at the Hilton, was the Beverly Hills Hilton, I think it was, to be found that way. And then for her daughter with Bobby then to be also dead, or to be found, well, she was put in a coma or whatever after she was also found in a bathtub on drugs. That girl had no hope. I mean, one hell of a life. She had one hell of a life. I guess Whitney did fit a lot into her 48 years, and she did leave a legacy with her music, so which is probably more than we can say for a lot of people who live longer than 48 anyway, I guess. So, you know, she was phenomenal, and it was sad because there's so much more I'm sure that we could have enjoyed with Whitney. But then we could say the same about Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and Amy Winehouse. You know, they all left amazing legacies with their music too. And it's phenomenal how much they produced in their short years, and Kurt Cobain. So, and Heath Ledger, of course, so he didn't do music. He left us with some great films and great acting. But yeah, the 27 Club, it's an interesting thing. And then we've got Whitney at 48. And Robin Williams, I think, was 50, wasn't he?
No, he was 63. So
Robin Williams was 63.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So yeah, it was.
Let's get my facts right here.
But it was still much of a fireball. Even towards the end of his career, it was always out there, and he never slowed down. Robin Williams.
Yeah.
So
he was a Leo too, like Whitney was astrologically.
No, he was born the same day as me. He's a Cancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I knew that. Me and Robin Williams have got the same birthday.
Seriously, I always thought Robin
21st of July.
Oh, you're on the cusp. You're on the cusp.
Yeah, on the cusp, but I'm on the cusp.
On the cusp of Cancer.
Leo, of Cancer and Leo.
You're on the cusp. Okay.
Same as Robin. I got exactly the same birthday.
That's amazing. And I've got the same as Sade. There you go. We have superstar in the making in our
How come you aren't a singer?
I do sing. Maybe not like Whitney, but, you know, I have a go and I express myself.
Or Sade, maybe.
Well, not like Sade. Sade is amazing. So anyway, what do you give it out of 5? What do you give Whitney? We could chat for ages here, can't we, Michael? We've got 2 other movie reviews coming up.
Before I give the star rating, I'd say watch both documentaries to get everything out of the life of Whitney Houston. The other one was called Can I Be Me? If I recall.
Oh, yes.
Can I Be Me? The other Whitney Houston documentary. And this one's just called Whitney. It is. So if you want all the details, watch both documentaries. This one doesn't give you so much about Bobby Christina. The other one does. It tells you more details about her tragedy because she died from drugs as well. So be able to find out more about that in Can I Be Me? And she became very difficult to work with towards the end of her career, as one of the record executives points out.
Yeah.
So go see Whitney for a piece of, you know, especially if you're into 80s music and Whitney Houston, which is what a lot of people are. Yeah, they admire her for her singing.
It was great,
as an artist.
Great coverage of her life, and sad how nasty her father was. I can't believe he was trying to sue her for $100 million at the end as he was on his deathbed. I mean, really, and he'd been ripping her off all that time. It's just disgusting, and you know, that's so sad. Some of the stuff that she put up with from her family, really, Whitney.
Okay, so I give it 4.5 stars out of 5. 4.5.
That's great, Michael. I would say. I was going to give it 4.5 too, but yeah, I'll say 4.25. 4.25. Let's just be a little bit different. 4.25 out of 5. That's pretty high ratings.
In words, what would that translate as?
Oh, brilliant. I thought it was a brilliant film, a documentary. I thought it was really, really good. And I just wanted to see more, actually. I wasn't bored. I was enthralled the whole way through.
Well, I was too.
And I felt the full gamut of emotions. I felt the highs. I felt Whitney's highs. I felt her lows. I felt all the heartache and drama she'd been through. And I really felt for her more than anything. I felt for her, and I really wanted to reach through the screen and help her and bring her back to life and help her recover. However, I guess we all have to, live our own journeys, Michael. We all have to live our own journeys. And Whitney lived hers. And I would like to toast to Whitney and her amazing life, and to the makers of this film, thank you for capturing that behind the scenes footage and bringing it to life for us. I thought it was really fantastic. So well done to the makers of Whitney.
We've had a fine time.
Thank you, Whitney, for the legacy. Thank you.
Drinking our red wine.
Cheers to Whitney. We love you, and we'll see you in the afterlife one day. In the meantime, we will enjoy your music, and for those watching this, I'm sure you will enjoy the documentary. So check it out and let us know what you think. We'd love to see your thoughts at the bottom of this video. Go to Movie Review TV on Facebook too. You can join us there. And if you'd like us to review a movie for you, let us know. Just contact us, and we're always open to it.
Yes, that's right. Tell us about any of the latest releases.
Yeah, or any even independent
we get to see
films.
most of them, but can't see everything.
Or independent films that you'd like us to review too. We've done a few of those.
Even local.
Anything controversial as well. We love controversy here. We like to question the status quo and question the mainstream media blasting out there and give a different point of view on things. So yes, come to us if you have any suggestions, and make sure you subscribe to the Aldwyn Altuney channel if you haven't already. Check out all our other episodes. This episode now is number 26 that we've just done, and we're going to be doing another review very shortly. Our next one is going to be Adrift, and then we're going to be doing The Leisure Seeker. So that's going to be coming up. Our next two coming up very shortly. So come and join us. And thanks again for watching. We'll see you on another episode of Movie Review TV very soon.
Yes, and don't go adrift, because we'll be able to see the next review very, very soon.
That's right. And we will always love you. We will always love you. Cheers. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.